Ya-Ting in the World Cup rankings because she finished with a silver medal and had 21 points. So she can really add to those totals and perhaps can take over the top spot in the World Cup rankings with a good performance today.
Yeah, it could also mean a mathematical lock into the finals going to Copenhagen later this September. So
that takes some pressure off, yeah.
Yeah, this would be a very big thing to take off her shoulders. But, I mean, it probably doesn't mean she's not going to go to Turkey. She'll probably be there because it's going to be bigger than last year's World Championships.
What are they saying, over 700 now entrants?
That's crazy.
For Antalya, I'm hearing numbers of 700 or more.
So what I've also heard is that the practice on the field, like we usually get open practice time. They say, here's the practice field, here's when all the buses are leaving. Take the bus that you want and go practice. I've heard now they're actually schedule assigned practice times, exactly. And that's almost akin to a lot of other sports around the world, like soccer, basketball, baseball, where your team is assigned a time on the field. And here we've got a great look at Miss Sartori from Italy. I believe this is the first time I've ever seen her in a medal match on the World Cup circuit.
Well, this week she, in qualification, shot a 650 at 22 10s, 10 10Xs. She scored a 6-0 win, and then a 6-2 win over Chong Hai-jin, but wound up losing 6-0 to Chae-Mei's Sun. So she was able to defeat one of the Koreans, and that's how she was able to get into this bronze medal match, by defeating Chong Hai-jin, which was a big upset. So Guendalina Sartori, who was ranked 39th in the world, takes on Ya-Ting, who shot a score of 680 in qualifying, 39 10s, 14 10Xs. Lost to Wu Jiajin 6-4 in the semifinals.
680 is a very, very respectable score. That'll play with all the Korean women as well. And I think that beats a lot of the men. So she's a very, very strong shooter. And I almost regret to say this, but despite her size, she's a great shooter. And the only reason why I bring size into this is because of her arrow length. Oh, that's beautiful.
That is grouping.
I'd have to say that because your arrow is shorter, you actually have a shorter power stroke on the arrow. You have a shorter power stroke, it'll actually come out of the bow a lot slower than a lot of other archers on the field. So the fact that it's coming out slower and she's able to achieve these scores means that she's got a really consistent shot from shot to shot. And I say this as opposed to like men's weight, for example. So a man who's shooting 30-inch arrow at, oh wow, that's really high. 30-inch arrow at about a 50-pound draw length. Your power stroke coming out of that bow is going to be a lot, for lack of a better description, a lot more powerful. It's going to have a lot more kinetic energy and a lot more momentum to maintain going down range, and it'll hit what you're aiming at more often than not, despite what type of release and what type of form you've put into that shot. So for her to be able to do this at the draw weight that she's pulling, at the arrow length that she's pulling, means that she's probably got, if not the most, one of the most, but I'm probably thinking the most consistent shot on this field of play.
And it's playing out right now. She takes a 2-0 lead over Guendalina Sartori after the first set, winning that one rather handily.
It's a 20. I could be a 26, and I think they just updated it, so it is a 26. And Miss Sartori has
scorecard here.
She has a little bit of work to do.
26-21 was actually the score in that set. So yeah, a little bit. But you know what? In fairness to Guendalina Sartori, as we've seen with others who've been out on this field for the first time, it's a quick adjustment. Boy, it happens fast.
It has to happen fast.
Like that, snap of your fingers, you've got to be shooting well right off the get-go.
And I'm trying to look on the field of play, and I'm not seeing the wind socks or anything moving on this field.
Nothing's moving.
I can feel wind, and we're just off to the right side behind the camera that you see right now. That's out, that's again high. I don't know why she's shooting very high here. That was a good shot. That's kind of strange. It's both in the same spot for both archers, so I'm wondering if there's something happening on the field that we aren't seeing or feeling. But again, look at the flags. There's nothing moving on the field of play.
How difficult to see those targets when they're bathed in the sunshine like that.
Sometimes there can be a glare that comes back at you. I'm fortunate enough to be one of those archers that can shoot wearing sunglasses, so a lot of the times that glare gets cut down. But for the archers that cannot shoot in sunglasses, there a lot more squinting goes on and a lot more tension in the face. That's a good shot. There we go, and she's found the 10 ring. Still high, but it's a 10.
For the first time in the match, and so hopefully that will get her going.
A 10 will win this set.
10 Ya-Ting though.
8.
An 8. And how about that, just like that? First time a match has been tied all day long. First time all day.
Besides the part where we start at 0.
Yes, exactly.
But what
Does that count?
No, unfortunately it doesn't. But what I was saying before is that when an archer is staring at a target that's giving them glare, they'll start to get a little bit of a squint in their face, and that'll cause tension in the face. And that extra tension in the face can sometimes throw your shot off, more than you would think.
Well, if there's tension in the face, it stands to reason there'd be more tension throughout the body.
Exactly, because it's basically almost your brain controls everything, and your face is kind of right there next to your brain. But
I hope it is.
Yeah. But
sometimes I'm not sure where my brain is, but
yeah.
Continue.
What country you're in, right?
There you go, Professor.
But that tension, that extra tension, can be just enough to throw any archer off. So to be able to look at that target with its glare, unfortunately, you have to force yourself to just relax and do your shot. And like I said back in Shanghai, it's the same distance, it's the same target with the same bows and arrows.
Who was that, by the way, behind the Foster Grants?
That was Albina Loganova.
That's what I thought. On the down low, yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping it on the down low.
And 10 Ya-Ting has no arrows below the halfway mark of her target. I believe Miss Sartori doesn't have any low either. Yes, that's right. There's nothing below the midpoint, the midline of her target.
She is starting to rise to the occasion, though. On that last set, 27-26, and now 10 Ya-Ting starting to have a little bit of trouble.
She just moved her sight, so that's a great sight move.
Here's a chance for Sartori to forge ahead. And a 9 puts her in front by 1. So a little bit of pressure now on 10 Ya-Ting.
10 needed to put some pressure on. Wow, that's
drops down.
That's unexpected for me. I think she moved her sight just a little bit too much, a little bit too aggressive. Wow.
So Sartori takes this set, the third set, and she comes back and she now leads.
And now both of them just shot low arrows. And this is another thing that happens in archery, and I'm sure there would probably be at least a handful of archers out there that agree with me that sometimes quantum physics has a play in archery. And what that means is that you'll be shooting high, and you'll move your sight a little bit higher, or up, and you'll shoot your next shot, and it'll be high again, and you'll move your sight up even more, and you'll shoot your next shot, and your arrow will still land high. And eventually, after another couple shots, you've moved it up so much, you take another shot, and suddenly that arrow is like a low 8 or a low 7, and you've just quantum jumped over the 10 ring to end up on the other side of the 10 ring. And I don't know, I can't
Sounds
explain
like
it.
grasping to me.
I'm trying to use my degree in physics to explain this phenomenon in archery, but
justify the tuition, yeah.
But I don't know why it happens. I still get it. A lot of my teammates still get it. We just saw it here. Lots of high arrows, and then all of a sudden, unexpectedly, a low arrow. It's a weird phenomenon, but it happens all the time.
10 Ya-Ting, who lost the bronze medal a year ago here in Medellin to her teammate Lei Chen-Ying, trying to fight back. She's down 4-2 now here in the fourth set. The most competitive match we've seen thus far today. But 10 Ya-Ting now with the advantage, up by 1.
Whoa. Huh. I didn't see that shot very well, so I can't exactly describe why that's happening.
And now we are tied.
Something in the gold would definitely put a little bit of pressure on Miss Sartori.
10 Ya-Ting trying to shake off the 7, and does with a solid shot. But is it good enough?
10
She's
to win.
in jeopardy right now. Sartori can put it away, pull off the upset. She was the number 14 qualifier.
Oh, that was through the clicker.
And instead, we're tied at 4.
Oh, that's Ilario de Bull coaching her, and if anybody recognizes him from the turn of the century, he was on the 2000 Olympic team for Team Italy, along with one of the other coaches that's here for actually coaching Team Italy. He was, Wiets van Alten. He was shooting for the Netherlands, and he was also an Olympian. So Team Italy has 2 former Olympians coaching them. They're in good hands.
Now remember, in the individual matches, it's first to 6.
So next win of next set win,
and if they
win.
split,
we go into a tie.
Exactly.
Tie break, for anybody who has forgotten the rules, is going to be that each archer will shoot 1 arrow closest to the center will win. And earlier this week we had 1 second arrow tie break that happened in the compound men, and that was between, I believe, Alex Wiffler and Sergio Pagni, and they had both shot 9s that were measured to be exactly the same distance from the center of the target.
All right, Mr. Physics, explain that.
They hit the exact same number of dust particles on the way down to the target.
Tan Ya-Ting with a 10. Big 10 for Tan. And big pressure for Sartori. May have just yielded to the pressure. Lost in her own thoughts right now. Tan Ya-Ting trying to come from behind and win this bronze medal. The medal that got away from her last year here in Medellin.
And sometimes I find that the bronze medal match is a bigger fight than the gold medal match. Just because that's an...
Ooh, it looked like it caught the line.
I think it did. The bronze medal match is one where one person comes out with a medal, not both. So it's usually a bigger fight, and that's the match.
That is it. That is it. Tan Ya-Ting showing her fortitude, her strength, but boy, what an effort by Guendalina Sartori. She cannot come back. Even if she'd shot a 10, it would not have been enough, but you've got to give her credit. A very strong, very competitive effort put in by Guendalina Sartori, who came in here ranked 39th in the world, took on the woman ranked 8th in the world, and she was able to take her pretty much the distance. It went 5 sets, and Tan Ya-Ting finally gets the win 6-4, but no doubt about it, the most competitive match we've seen thus far today.
And I'm thinking it's probably not going to be the last. But again, it's great when you're able to take sets off of a higher ranked archer, a much higher ranked archer. And we did that with Team Canada, and my 2 teammates, Hamilton and Brandon. I mean, they shot awesome, and we were able to take a set off of Korea. And I think we were the only team this whole World Cup to take a set off of Korea. So we
You
found
can take some pride in that, yeah. No, I'm serious.
Yeah, we totally
You
did.
should.